Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Deveji, your host. I'm welcoming you, episode 167. We are in season 5 in the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. Quote of the day. As you know, we have a partnership with missionstatements.com, and here is the quote of the day. There is a lot of blood, sweat, and guts between dreams and success. Okay, well, I have a special guest in the American Business Podcast. I'm going to invite our guest to the stage and let's get the conversation started. Hello, Hussein. Welcome to the American Business Podcast.
Hi, Kevin. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you very much. How are you? How is your week going so far?
Doing well. The week is good. It's always good to be a Friday, end of the week. Looking forward for the weekend.
Yeah, that sounds great. Where are you connecting out of?
I'm in Los Angeles. I'm in the Los Angeles area. That my practice is in Beverly Hills, and I cover Southern California in my practice.
Yeah, this is great. Well, I'm glad that you join us today, and I'm looking forward to our conversation. If that's okay, we can get started.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's start with introductions. For our listeners and viewers, would you please introduce yourself and your firm?
I think you already introduced me as Hussein Barenji. I am founder and the main principal owner of law firm. It was previously Barenji and Associates. We've gone through a change. It's now called Barenji Divorce and Family Law Group. We're based in Beverly Hills, but we do cover Southern California, and I've had cases in Northern California as well. But our core clients are in Southern California. We specialize in high net divorces. Those are anything related family law, mainly divorces, custody, but in this region.
Okay. This is good to know. Yeah, we have had lawyers before in the American Business Podcast. So in this practice, you are the first first guest that we are having. So This is exciting. So we can learn more from you today. That's a great insight. Career journey. Would you please tell us about your career journey? How did you get started? How your career journey has unfolded over the years?
Well, not to bore you, but I'm going to quickly go
Sure.
way back. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm originally Iranian, and I you might kind of know because you might be from the same area and region.
Yes.
And doctors. You grow up, your family keeps on telling you got to be a doctor. You got to be a doctor. That's how I grew up, and I went with that mentality, and I entered into my undergrad at UCLA with a biology major to become a doctor. And I saw a particular film. It's cliche, but I saw a movie, The Firm. You might know The Firm, and it's a book, and it was intriguing. It was a little action packed, but it was law, and it really kind of gripped me, and I was like very intrigued about the law and how the law can work in a lot of different ways, whether it's to protect and attack and do a lot of, you can do a lot with the law. So I went into my undergrad with that idea in mind that, hey, you know what, I want to become a doctor, but I was intrigued about the law. And throughout my journey in undergrad, I I realized I didn't want to be a doctor. And I worked at student health services at a hospital, didn't want to be in a hospital. And I realized, okay, this is not for me. Let me look into law. And let me position myself to see if I can go to law school. I switched my major and I ended up becoming a poli-sci major, went to law school, got out, and that's how my career started in law. How I got into family law was very interesting because early on I knew I wanted to do the type of law that touched people on a personal level, right? Not going to big law, big corporations. And I did actually do a variety of different areas of law early on. Until I picked my family law. So about 5 years, I was working at different firms. I did different things, and I kind of decided family law is for me. And I started my practice, and here we are, 20 some years later after I put in my firm, and we're just doing family law and specializing in family law, and I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, this is an amazing story, and I'm glad that you share that that with us. Um, what is the secret of your success?
Well, I mean, the the secret of success, I think, in any business, but particularly my business, obviously hard work. But I think anybody works hard, right? But just because you work hard doesn't mean you succeed. A lot of people who work hard, but might even be paycheck to paycheck and not be able to be successful in their area. I think strategy. I think you have to strategize. You have to be goal driven. You have to and have benchmarks and actually have measurements in place to be accountable and make sure you hit your benchmarks. So I think just not just hard work, strategizing, accountability, and matrix. I think all of those will is I think is not only the product of my success, but is what I think is necessary.
How would you define the state of your industry nowadays?
Well, my industry is, it is evolving. I think that I've been in practice before COVID. I was in practice after COVID. I am now in practice before AI, and now in practice after implementations of AI in businesses. It is evolving. It's the evolution has been on a very high slope. I recall early on when I was practicing, it was very archaic. I mean, you had paper pleadings, you were dealing with facts, everything was just slower, very slow paced. Filing things with the court, it's just a very slow process. And through the evolution, now I had the benefit of being a part of the generation where we had the internet and we had word processing and computers, but like you can see, it was much slower when they had typewriters and things of that nature. But through the different changes that society has gone through, and so has our area of practice. And now I think that AI, and I think we'll get into that. I think AI is the next huge change in the legal field, not just divorce, but any legal field. And I think that over the next, I would say even 2 to 3 years, we're going to see a tremendous change in how law firms operate.
Yes, and you just talk about something really popular in the American business podcast. That is AI, and that was my next question, and the impact of AI. So, how do you see the impact of AI on business nowadays? You just touch upon it a little bit. If you can, you know, share more of your insights, that'd be great with AI. And speaking of AI, before you address these, we chat earlier before we start the recording. So I was invited to an organization called Legal Week. That's for technologies for legal industry. That conference plus expo takes place in New York City. So I was invited there. I went there, and they had an expo area, companies with their booths, and I was pretty surprised. I mean, 99% of the expo was just all technology companies. So my background is technology, so I really appreciated what they do. But at the same time, I was also pretty surprised. Just it was like whole technology companies offering different type of softwares for legal practices. So that was an experience for me too. I also learned a lot in terms of how else the technology may be utilized in a different field. So that was a great educational experience for me. So going back to the question, how do you see the impact of AI on business and also in legal practice in general?
With the issue of AI, I think that we have two areas in the legal field. There is the actual law and information and the legal side of it, and there is the business side of it and operations and management. I think that AI is still in the development stage for the legal services, meaning that there's still a lot of hallucinations by AI. You still can't really rely on AI. I'm sure you heard hundreds of stories, not hundreds, but tens of stories where attorneys get in trouble with their state bar. They put in the AI gives them case law that's not applicable, laws that are not applicable, and they get in trouble. And even in California, the State Bar of California has issued guidelines on people using AI for their legal work, and you got to always vet it. Just like you have a paralegal who might be working for you, you got to look at their work, or an associate, you got to make sure the work you're handing into the court is accurate and the law is accurate and the arguments are sound. So I don't think AI has developed or has gone. It will, I think it will, but it hasn't gone to a point where you can really rely on it to do a lot of the work and you don't oversee AI. But I think on the function of managing your firm, I think there are a lot of tools and softwares that do help streamline the process. Before I go to that, you can use AI on the legal side to potentially summarize certain documents. You can feed it certain documents, and then you can have it give you information about that document. I think that's a lot more trustworthy than having it go do legal research or create arguments. All right, on the function of actually managing your firm, I think there are a lot of tools in AI that are being developed that help not only for the intake process. There are AI tools that are your virtual intake department where they get the information, they process the information quickly. There are AI tools where they help manage certain parts of the business. So we are at least in my firm are really looking into implementing AI into the management side, because I think that it is a tool that will become used by many law firms, and the law firms that can use it and utilize it early on are going to have a huge advantage in the market, in their processes, and I think it will help them elevate above those firms that are reluctant to use it.
Well, I have a spontaneous question that wasn't on the list, but it just came to my mind. It's because we had some lawyers in the American Business Podcast before, and I was really curious about that question. I asked them, and that just came to my mind, so I just wanted to ask you too. So get your take. Do you think AI will replace lawyers and judicial system in the future?
That's a great question. That is something that has been in the back of my mind. Could it ever replace um, the human aspect of making judicial decisions? One thing that I think AI lacks, and I hope it never gets, is emotion, and the ability to have independent thought. Because now we're talking about Terminator uh,
Yeah, it's
concept,
true. Yeah,
right?
yeah. These are all possibilities now. Yeah, absolutely.
I hope it never does, because then I think we're going to have a challenge, and humanity is going to have a challenge on its hands.
Mhm.
I think with that lack of insight by I think it because when you're a judge, you assess credibility. It is not always about, at least in my field, because we're not jury trials. We have a judge who makes the decisions. In
Ah,
other
yes.
areas where there's a jury, it's still the
Mhm.
same. Right? Juries believe a witness, judges believe a witness. So credibility is very important. So in a sense, when credibility is involved, I don't think AI could ever replace, or maybe it will, but I hope it doesn't, for other reasons.
Mhm.
But I think AI has to be able to observe, has to have that high level of belief that this person is lying. And what benchmarks will an AI look as the person is fidgeting? The answers are not concise and clear. There is the judges or juries look at witnesses to determine whether they're telling the truth or not. So that's the ultimate answer of whether they will replace judges and make decisions. Could they replace attorneys? We advocate. Our job is to advocate, take facts, apply it to the law, and that is something that could possibly be done, right? That could be done. Now, when we go to court, it's not just the pleadings. There's an argument. There's a level of argument. So I think that AI could eventually be smart enough to and not hallucinate, and really be structured and be concise, and not and really be limited to the law. and the facts, and it could generate a lot of the pleadings, a lot of the paperwork, and I think it could get there. I just don't know if it can get to the level where it replaces an attorney, but it could do a lot of the things that attorneys can do. So I do see that happening. I think in any area where you are using your cognitive powers, okay, AI can replace it, right? If you're a plumber, or you're an electrician, AI until the robotics gets to a point where they can do
Yes.
that, right? But
Yes.
that's far away. But I think with AI, anything that takes intellect, I think AI could potentially replace.
Okay, these are great insights. Thank you for this answer. Okay, well, let's talk about marketing a little bit. What are the best marketing practices for the highest ROI nowadays, from your point of view? I know
Um,
in legal field there are restrictions and regulations in terms of how you can perform marketing.
Of
Uh,
course, of
yes.
course. I think every field is different. I can obviously speak to my field. The best clients are referrals. I mean, those are by far. It's still that way. So if you could position yourself in where you are either where you are a leader in your field, if you are known as the person who is specializing in a particular area, and you have a name in your community, a name in your region, where you are elevated amongst your peers, that will give you an edge for referrals. That would give you an edge, even in marketing, social media, or online marketing. That will, I think, drive more business to you. Billboards. In LA, we have a ton of billboards for personal injury lawyers. That's their market, right? That's their thing. People are on the road, people are driving, is the constant barrage of the name and the logo and the image. But for my particular area, family law, I believe, especially with the clientele that I have, that is my high net worth clients, the referrals are my base. But having a name recognition and a leader in the community would help even with online marketing and social media marketing.
Leadership. From your point of view, how would you define leadership, and what are the great leadership qualities a good leader must have?
From my experience, I've gone through, as I indicated before we started the broadcast. I have, I started my practice, and as a lawyer, I was really focused and driven on the law, not the business of the law. And this is something that's challenging when for lawyers, especially because if they really like to practice law, they're not really thinking about the business side because that's a completely different area. So as my practice has grown, as I've gone associates and my staff has gone bigger, I have had to learn how to become a good leader. And I think that through my experience, I think you want to set an example for your team. I think that's the first and foremost. You have to be trustworthy. They have to believe in what the message that I am telling them. And so you lead by example. You build trust, and you build systems in place to allow your team to be successful. Not just tell them, hey, you need to do this, because I think that you need to be able to help them get to where you want them to be. To just tell them, hey, I need this from you without direction or guidance, it's not going to get them. So one has to believe in the message of the firm, the goals of the firm, through leadership and through looking at what I do, but first, and then also put systems in place to allow them to be able to get there, and so that they could achieve their goals. Set benchmarks, KPIs. They have to be able to hit those benchmarks, and then follow up with them, and then train them. So these are all, I think, kind of, I didn't learn it all at once. It's been a process, but we're on our way to hopefully be able to implement all of these things properly in our firm, and we have, and we're still working on it. So yeah,
Absolutely.
that's how you become a good leader.
Yes, and I love your vision. I mean, this is always it's always a work in progress. There's always a
Absolutely.
continuous improvement. It's evolving, it's changing, and as an organization, we all learn and improve.
You
Uh,
have to. Yeah.
that's very inspiring.
And
Absolutely,
stagnation is the downfall of any company or any industry.
absolutely. Well, have you had any role models, any mentors who help you shape your career journey over the years?
Um, I've had early on in my career, like I indicated, I was really focused on the law, and and I think that has been part of my success because I kind of started doing some very complex legal work early on in my career. I kind of built a name and reputation for myself in my industry and in my community, and through kind of handling those type of cases, I had opposing counsels who I started learning from, and also mentoring me because once you have an adversary, in my opinion,
Mhm.
that is a very formidable adversary, you can learn from them. And I have had attorneys who I've had very difficult battles with, who are now friends, and I learned, and much senior than me, and I've learned from. So on the legal side, I would say it's pretty much my opponents, if you will, who I have
Mhm.
formed kind of friendships with, and I've learned from. Judges, I retired judges. I have good connections with some of the judges, and I have learned from them, and I think that's helped me out in my legal education and advocacy. On the business side, absolutely. I think, and again, this is where the law aspect of my practice and the business side are very different. Um, Business side, I think the there's a lot of individuals who have had success in the area of law, and I look at them. I look at what the processes they place, and also I look at the ones who have not been successful. Who firms there are a few firms in our area who have grown tremendously and they collapsed, and just knowing what their collapse has been. So people in my industry and are pretty much what I focus on and who I surround myself with to kind of learn from and to be able to grow in my practice.
If there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would it be that you can share with us?
Um, I think it goes back to what the key of success, in my opinion,
Mhm.
is goals, strategize, keep yourself accountable, and keep matrix. I didn't do these four elements early on in my practice. As I indicated, I was focused on the law. I loved being in court. I loved the adversary element of my practice. I loved being in court, arguing, doing strategizing on the case, not on the business. And so my growth as a law firm has been, in my opinion, slower than what I would have liked. I am happy where I am right now, but if I could have done it all over again, I would have strategized earlier. I would have set better goals for myself. I would have kept better KPIs for myself. And another thing that you hear often from entrepreneurs and businesses who do well is hire well. Don't try to do everything yourself. Hire early, hire well, and help yourself grow. And so you can work on the business, not in the business. And as a lawyer and this is a challenge across the board for a lot of lawyers, is that they work in their business. They like to be going to court. They don't go to court. They don't go to be a lawyer because they want to open up a business. They don't go to business school. They go to law because they like the practice of law, and then they have to now switch hats, right? And I think that if I would have thought about that earlier and strategized earlier, that's the only thing I think I would have done differently.
We have a little tradition in the American Business Podcast. I have a question for you coming from our previous guest, and I'll ask you to leave me a question in this episode. I'm going to take your question and ask to our coming guest in the next episode. And the question for you coming from our previous guest is, how would you define extraordinary life from your point of view?
You know, for myself personally, I mean, obviously, with the issue, Instagram, Facebook, people are looking and seeing people, living in $50 million houses, $100 million houses, driving, $5 million cars. And some people think, well, that's an extraordinary life. I mean, but that's all noise. That's all, I think extraordinary life is where you can achieve what is really important for you in your life. Whether it's being comfortable while you're living, whether it's being able to travel, being able to do what is really enjoyable for you. I think if you could achieve that, if you can have the family life that you want, if you have the kids that you want, if they are healthy, if they're prosperous, if you or yourself are achieving your goals, I think with how hard life is in these days, in my opinion, work and when you talk to your parents, everybody knows that the prior generation life was easier. The life was slower, it was easier, it's faster, it's harder, it's more competitive now than it was way back then. So for me, an extraordinary life would be really being able to achieve your goals. Not necessarily having the $100 million house, but being able to achieve your goals and being happy. I think I think that's the definition of success for me.
And what is your question for the next guest?
So I cheated because I asked you before we went on live who our next guest was.
Yes.
So I'm actually going to tailor my guest a little bit for your guest. I cheated a little bit, and I'm gonna log on and see the next episode so I see what exactly.
Okay.
All right. So I want to know what he believes the next big disaster that society needs to prepare for globally would be. We know we had COVID. I want to know what he thinks the next one would be.
Okay, that's a great question. Just right in his alley. So looking forward to answer as well. That's great. So in this part of the episode, is there any question that you would like to ask me?
Yeah, you have a technology background, and you are really obviously engaged in this podcast. It's several seasons now, 5th season.
Yeah.
What made you decide to start this podcast?
Yeah, I love this question. So, well, I actually watch different podcasts very often, and I find them to be pretty educational in general. And most of the podcast channels that I've seen, I'm still following many of them. They're pretty niche in terms of practices. Some of them they focus on real estate. Some of them they focus on finance, Bitcoin, and different subjects. These are pretty focused podcasts, and they have great content most of the time. I couldn't find a podcast with variety of business subjects in it to share some educational content, and I decided to start one to create this educational environment. And we like to create this educational environment to share this informative content with today's and next generation professionals. That is what drives us every day. And we add one more mission into this is the American Business Podcast promotes, supports, and uplifts American businesses, nonprofits, manufacturers, and the business community. So we find it to be an important mission for economic development and empowerment, and that's also very motivational for us. That's actually why we started it, and so far it looks like we are doing a good job, so we like to keep it up.
Yeah, it looks like a great show.
Appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
What is your career advice for the next generation professionals?
I think that as technology, and again, I think technology is going to exponentially grow. I think that it is very important for people to be comfortable with technology. I think it'll be important for people to adopt technology and not shy away from it. I think that my generation, obviously, I'm 51 years old, so I'm a generation where our technology growing up was not as advanced as it is now. I think the newer generation coming up are much more comfortable with it. But I think that people who will rely on these type of platforms and technology might get complacent about what truly strives success, where you have to still not forget the core items. You got to be able to strategize. You got to be able to implement. You got to be able to keep track of your goals. And I think those are really hard. The same fundamentals, but applied differently. Applied differently with with technology, with faster processings. There's ever-changing markets in marketing. I mean, the marketing realm has changed. It was all about Google. Now it's starting to get to AI marketing, and that people are starting to rely on AI a lot more than Google. So I think trying to always envision what the next technology growth is going to be, to anticipate that growth, and try to plan ahead to be able to maximize and position yourself and able to be competitive with that growth. I think technology wasn't as important when I was going to college, or even when I started law school. I remember we just had the online research tools where you didn't have to go back and open up the books, and you can actually log in and do case research online. That's that's the technology we had back then.
At that time, yes.
Completely different now. So I think that's really important for the new generation. But don't forget the fundamentals.
Absolutely. These are
Yeah.
the great advice. Well, for those who like to continue this conversation, learn about your organization, and get in touch with you, what is the best way to get in touch?
Absolutely.
with
So
you?
our website is currently, and we're in the mid process of transition, but is berengifamilylaw.com. And when we do transition, obviously we would have, there'll be a landing page, and people can reach us that way. I also can be found on LinkedIn personally under my name, Hussein Berenji, and even the firm. Again, the LinkedIn is still in transition, but it'd be Berenji and Associates at this time. But we're in the process of making the switch.
This is great. Well, thank you so much for being with us in your busy
Absolutely.
schedule in the American Business Podcast. Thank you for sharing your professional insights and professional wisdom with us.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
for having me on. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and have a great day.
You too.
And to our audience and to our listeners, our viewers, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Well, what do you think about our conversation? Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Tell us about your view. What do you think? How the next generation should prepare themselves in these evolving, changing times, in this age of AI. We'd love to hear from you. And if you like this episode, please like, share, and also share with your contacts, with your friends, with your colleagues, and your likes and subscription helps us a lot. We'll truly appreciate it. And we'll be right back after a short break. Thank you. Would you like to listen to music during your work time? We are here to help. We created ABP Office Music Pod, powered by the American Business Podcast. ABP Office Music Pod is for you, the working professional. You can enjoy jazz, lo-fi, smooth jazz, classic music, and more during your work time. We keep the music positive and energetic. You can go to the YouTube channel of the American Business Podcast, or you can scan this QR code and start listening right away. There is more coming in the American Business Podcast, and this is one of them. Enjoy ABP Office Music Pod during your work time, and thank you very much for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Reddit. Do you know the biggest challenge nowadays for American small businesses? That is visibility. That's why we partner with Reddit for Business. There are more than 440 million visitors weekly on Reddit. Furthermore, Reddit is reliable and millions of users are going to Reddit to get the real feedback from real people. It is the number one source for real reviews on products, services, and brands. There is a promotion going on that I'd like you to consider and take advantage of. When you spend $500 on Reddit for advertising, you'll get $500 in advertising credit. True story. I am a Reddit user, and anytime I like to have feedback or review for a product or service, I go to Reddit and I talk to Reddit communities. I get the real feedback and real review from real people and real communities. Scan this QR code and sign up for Reddit advertising. Get the visibility for your company, for your products and services on Reddit with Reddit advertising. Reach people ready to buy your products and services with Reddit advertising. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Anywhere Apps by Kerr Consulting, now Cherry Baker. Anywhere Apps are designed to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Anywhere Apps are family of business software products. There are more than 40 products available for business process digitization and automation. Anywhere's apps are easy to use, they are standalone, and they are also ready to integrate with your ERP and accounting software systems. Today, I'd like to promote APS Anywhere, which is part of Anywhere Apps software product portfolio. APS Anywhere, designed for manufacturing companies. Whether you are a process manufacturing company, food and beverage, chemical, and more, or a discrete manufacturing company, automotive, aerospace, electronics, and more. APS stands for Advanced Planning and Scheduling. APS Anywhere is ready to streamline, digitize, and automate your production planning process. As you know, in manufacturing, production planning is not easy. There are always some bottlenecks and challenges. You need to put together your resources, 3M, man, machine, and material. APS Anywhere designed to streamline this process and automate it for you. It is a modern system. It runs on cloud. It also has deployment options for installation on your server or your private cloud environment. The system is scalable. It comes with unlimited number of production planning scenarios, meaning before you execute, you can see the financial implications and timing of your production planning on APS Anywhere. APS Anywhere comes with a very colorful and easy-to-use Gantt chart so that you can see your production planning on a colorful and easy-to-operate Gantt chart before you finalize your production planning purposes. The system is also integratable. It is ready to integrate your ERP system, MRP system, and other systems whenever there is a need. It is designed for manufacturing companies by manufacturing experts. It also comes with ready-made reports if you like to utilize. Furthermore, on APS Anywhere, you can also use demand forecasting function, meaning based on your past manufacturing and sales figures, the system can predict what will be your demand in the future. This will help you manage your supply chain in a more productive manner. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and you can learn more about APS Anywhere as well as Anywhere App software system in general. There is more. I have a direct line for you. You can send me a direct email, kevin@kerconsulting.com. kevin@kerconsulting.com, and I'll be happy to hear from you about Anywhere apps, APS Anywhere, or any Anywhere apps that is offered by Anywhere apps by Care Consulting, now Cherry Baker. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Otter AI. Otter is the AI note taker that builds your knowledge and powers your workflow with transcription, automated summaries, AI chat, and more. Get your AI-powered assistant for meeting notes, tasks, and more. Scan the QR code on the screen and sign up today. Otter AI is the latest note taker that you can utilize, and you can set your meetings, you can take your notes, and you can also set up your follow-up actions automatically with the help of the Otter AI. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from DocuSign. If you are signing vendor contracts and customer contracts very often, just like I do on daily basis, consider DocuSign. DocuSign is the latest modern digital and electronic signature software system. Furthermore, you can manage your vendor contracts, customer contracts, NDAs, and any other commercial contracts on DocuSign digitally with no need of local installation and no need of keeping your documents on your laptop or your mobile device. Furthermore, with the latest technology of DocuSign, it has intelligent agreement management. It recognizes your repeated documents and creates contracts automatically and makes things easier for you. Do you know how many users are there for the DocuSign system? More than 1 billion users. There are many companies using DocuSign and trust DocuSign for electronic and digital signature. True story. I also use DocuSign on daily basis and it works smoothly. Highly recommended. You see the QR code on the screen. When you scan the QR code, you fill up the form to start your free trial and join the DocuSign user community. Enjoy your DocuSign experience, and I hope you sign up today. I have the QR code on the screen. Thank you very much, and enjoy the experience. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Gemini Trust. Gemini makes crypto simple. Find, trade, and buy over 70 different coins, including Bitcoin and Solana, on the best cryptocurrency platform. Gemini Trust. Start trading crypto here. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and start signing up today. Because they have a great customer service, you can reach out to them and get assistance 24/7. Scan the QR code and start trading crypto on Gemini. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Wizen. At the American Business Podcast, we always talk about continuous improvement and professional development. That is why we partner with Wizen, trust the nation's largest network for tutoring. Wizen helps you find the tutor that you need in many different subjects: chemistry, computer, foreign languages, geometry, English, music, physics, reading, SAT, science, and many more. I have the QR code on the screen that you can sign up and start searching for tutors and enjoy the learning experience and continuous improvement as we always talk about in the American Business Podcast. Scan the QR code and sign up for Wizen today. Thank you very much. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Rosetta Stone. Rosetta Stone is bringing you foreign languages. Learn from the experts, choose your plan to get started, sign up today. New Year is coming, and if your New Year resolution is learning a foreign language, Rosetta Stone is the choice for you. Rosetta Stone is offering you a long list of foreign languages: French, Italian, German, Chinese, Greek, Turkish, Polish, Portuguese, Vietnamese, and many more languages are available for you to get started today. Scan the QR code on the screen and sign up for Rosetta Stone and enjoy the learning experience of foreign language. Thank you very much. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Anywhere Apps by Kirk Consulting, now Cherry Beckert. Anywhere Apps are business software systems, and they are designed to digitize and automate your business processes. Today, I like to focus on contract management anywhere as part of Anywhere Apps software product portfolio. Contract Management Anywhere is an AI-powered vendor, customer, and legal contract management software system. It is modern, it runs on cloud, it's easy to use, and it's scalable. Because of the AI capabilities of the system, software comes with an AI chatbot that you can get your answers about any contracts that you have. Renewal dates, amounts, start dates, and other details can be learned from the system in a conversation. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code to learn more about Contract Management Anywhere, as well as Anywhere Apps in general. There is more. I have a direct email for you. You can send me a direct email about Anywhere Apps and Contract Management Anywhere, kevin@kirkconsulting.com. I'll be happy to help you and help you schedule a demo session with Team Anywhere Apps. Looking forward to hearing from you, and I hope you enjoy Anywhere Apps. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Norton, advanced tech for advanced threats. Sign up today. Norton offers you different packages to completely save and secure your data and your devices. Each Norton package comes with antivirus, malware, ransomware, and hacking protection capabilities. In addition, there is VPN, private internet connection, dark web monitoring, and parental control capabilities in each package. There is a promotion going on right now. I have the QR code on the screen. You can get up to 60% discount if you sign up right now for one of the packages. There are packages of Deluxe, Standard, Plus, and Select. Depends on the number of devices that you like to connect, as well as the features that you like to utilize when you are using Norton. I have the QR code on the screen. When you scan the QR code, you'll see the different packages and options available for you. Scan the QR code, go to the page that you like to sign up, pick the package that you like to use, and sign up today. True story. I am also using Norton on a daily basis, and I know all of my devices are secure every single day, thanks to Norton. Scan the QR code on the screen and start using Norton today and save your devices and your data in a safe and secure manner with the help of Norton. Thank you very much and enjoy the experience.